Hi everyone, I'm Joy,
I'm Natalie.
And I'm Emma.
and today we're going to be going over room essentials and giving you some advice on what we think you should bring and what you should leave at home when coming to SCU. First off, we're going to be talking about your bedding and sleeping essentials. So, for the bare minimum of what you need, remember that all the beds in the RLCs are twin extra large. So, whenever you're purchasing stuff, make sure to look and double check that size. But you're going to need a mattress topper, fitted sheets, top sheets, pillowcases, and a comforter duvet. And then on the optional side, we have a throw blanket. This was more of a necessity for me. I will say having a throw blanket's really nice so that you can make your bed, and then if you want to take a nap or lay down later in the day, you can just use that blanket instead of unmaking your whole bed. So that was really nice for me. If you want any extra throw pillows, earplugs are also nice if you're a light sleeper and maybe living in some of the more noisy areas of campus. Or if you have maybe a more noisy roommate that might stay up later than you might want to consider purchasing some earplugs. And then personal preference if you want an eye mask, and then just for funsies, stuffed animals, and then an extra set of sheets can also be super helpful whenever you have to wash your sheets and if you want to change them out.
Next, we'll be going over storage and organization. So just to preface, a lot of this stuff is optional and definitely not like an absolute necessity, but I found a lot of these items to be super helpful for my first year experience. The first is these three drawers from Target, and fits perfectly underneath a bed if it's raised. I bring a lot of clothes, so if you're someone that has a lot of things, this might be very helpful. Next, I would say some sort of shoe organizer. Depending on which RLC you reside in, it'll depend if you can be over the door or if it's one of those more like pull-out drawers that you can store underneath your bed or anywhere else. I personally used one over the door, but I know a lot of friends that used either one. Next, I will say this three-tiered cart from Target is also very helpful. It kind of acts like a nightstand, and you can put it right next to your bed, and you can store anything from books to snacks to lamps to anything that you really want. And the final thing on this slide is an ottoman. You can get these from Target or Amazon, but this is very helpful if you need a little bit of assistance getting up to a raised bed, and it's just another great way to store things. Next is hangers. I will say that I needed to buy hangers several times throughout the year, so I'd recommend to get more than less. And a lot of the closets have plenty of space to hang all of your clothes. If you are someone that enjoys jewelry or makeup, these next two items are things that I found to be helpful, but again, not an absolute essential, especially if you don't regularly use them. And finally, this is definitely a little bit definitely optional, but there's these desk hutches that I know many people like to use for extra desk space, but they are on the pricier end, so don't feel too pressured to get them.
All right, so next we're going to cover kitchen and dining. So the first thing that we have is a mini fridge and a microwave. If you don't already own one of these or don't want to purchase one, you can totally rent them from SCU. If you go to collegefridge.com, you can rent a mini fridge and a microwave duo, and they'll show up right to your room. And at the end of the year, you just leave them there and they're taken care of for you. Definitely communicate with your roommate on that and decide how y'all want to go about that. But those are definitely both very helpful to have in your room. And then the next thing that we have is a basic set of utensils, plates, cups, and things like that. You can literally get these from Target for like 50 to 99 cents. They're super cheap, and they last you a long time. They're really good for leftovers or if you just want to buy groceries and make food in your room and things like that. And then the next thing that we have is things like dish soap, sponges, dusters, and other cleaning supplies like that. Like I said, if you're buying plates, cups, bowls, and things like that to make food within your room, you definitely want to have sponges and dish soap to clean up when you're done. Each room has a sink within the room, and there are shared kitchens within most floors in the RLCs, so you'll definitely have somewhere to wash your dishes when you're done.
I'll also say these brushes are also super helpful for reusable water bottles and hydro flasks if you have them. That's something that I didn't bring at the beginning, but that kind of stuff gets dirty pretty fast. So definitely having those type of brushes to clean that was super helpful.
Next, we'll be talking about bathroom essentials. And the first thing is a shower caddy. I personally use a mesh one, but I also have had friends that use plastic. The mesh ones, for me, in my experience, haven't gone too dirty, and I know a lot of people that use them successfully as well. So it's really just up to preference, but you can get these from basically anywhere. I know Target, Amazon, Walmart are some standard places. Next, I will say that regardless if you are in a traditional or a like a dorm that's not traditional, a RLC that's not traditional, shower shoes are definitely a must. And I will say that you can get some pretty inexpensive ones from Amazon that last all year long. Next, I will also say a bathrobe. I personally really liked having a bathrobe just because it was more comfortable for me to walk up and down my wing, especially when I was going to go take a shower. And you can get some pretty inexpensive ones from Amazon, Target, the standard places as well. A set of towels is pretty standard. I actually had two sets of towels just so that I could use one and then go use go put it in the laundry if needed. But that definitely isn't needed. I know a lot of people don't have two sets of towels, and that works perfectly fine for them. And then all SCU RLCs will have a vanity and sink. So hand soap is something that I definitely thanked myself for bringing right from the beginning of the school year. And you can get that from pretty much anywhere. And finally, toilet paper if you live in a suite.
Okay, so next we're going to talk about school supplies. So the first thing that we have on this list are mechanical pencils or regular pencils, whatever you normally use. You can order some on Amazon for super cheap, get a big pack that'll last you the whole year. Or if you prefer to write with pens, you can get packs of pens on Amazon for under $3, super cheap as well. And then if you prefer to take notes on paper other than online digitally on a computer or an iPad, tablet, things like that, I would recommend getting a 5-star notebook. I had one of those ones that were super thick and sectioned into 4 different subjects. That way I didn't have to carry around 4 different notebooks for each of my classes. I just carried one big one and had a section for each class. And then next is books/textbooks. Your professors will let you know which books or textbooks you need for each class within the syllabus. So once you start each of your classes, you'll have a better idea of which ones you need. You can get these at the bookstore at SCU. I know that if you find a textbook online that's cheaper than what SCU is selling it for, they should be able to price match that for you. So that's super helpful as well. And a lot of the books that are required for your classes, you'll be able to check out at the library. So those can be pretty affordable as well. The next thing you'll definitely need is either a backpack or a tote bag of some kind. As long as you have something to carry your laptop and your books into class, anything should do, honestly. You can use the same one that you used in school in the past. And then next would be a laptop, I think that, or some type of tablet, like I mentioned earlier. We run everything through Camino, basically. A lot of your assignments will be due online. Some will be still due on paper, but most stuff that we do is online. So you'll definitely want to have some type of laptop that you can use. Next is a calculator. These can be not too expensive on Amazon, depending which one you get, or you can use one that you've used in the past. For me personally, I brought a calculator and didn't end up using it too much, especially in math classes. I found that they were actually not allowed, but that kind of depends on your professor. So I would say bring one if you have it, and see if you're allowed to use it, but no rush to buy one. And then the last thing that we have on here is a planner. This is Notion, which is what I use. It's just kind of like an online personalized planner. And I use it to keep track of all of my due dates, appointments, meetings, class schedules, things like that. Definitely don't try to just remember everything in your head. College is really busy. It's a lot. And especially with the quarter system, it goes by super fast. So I would say investing in some type of planner, whether it's paper or online, is super helpful.
The next thing we'll be going into is just miscellaneous things that you might need along the way. So for sure you're gonna need some basic cleaning supplies. Clorox wipes were super easy. I use those all the time. A Swiffer, especially if your RLC is tile. I know San Filippo, those floors are tile, so I use a Swiffer a lot. And then a mini vacuum is also really nice to clean up any crumbs or hair that got on the floor. And then Windex, because every RLC does have a mirror area. And then we have laundry baskets. You can either have one on wheels or just one that you carry, whatever works to get your things to and from the laundry room. Some pair of slip-on shoes, something easy to throw on. Sometimes you might have to leave your room a little bit in a hurry. There's a lot of different fire drills or other things where you might need to get out of your room. And so those are also super easy to slip on. Or if you just want to run to the laundry room, you can slip on some shoes, just something easy. And then a fan. This is definitely a must have. Even in the RLCs that have air conditioning, sometimes the individual rooms can get kind of stuffy, especially if you have a lot of people in there. So just a small fan is also really nice to have. And then depending on where you're living as well, an over the door mirror. Some RLCs have more space than others for this. So you can just check where you're living and you can reach out to an OL who has lived there in the past and we can let you know what we recommend. So next we'll be going into our rooms. We'll show some pictures and kind of our staple pieces and what we enjoyed about our rooms that we think might be a good idea for you guys to have as well.
Yeah, so this was my room during my first year. As you can tell, I tried to incorporate some things that would make it feel more like home, such as wall decor and stuffed animals. I also had some throw pillows on there, but just because the beds are on the smaller size, I wouldn't recommend bringing more than 1 or 2 throw pillows, especially if you have other stuff on your bed as well. The next thing I will say is lots of storage. I lived in a traditional room during my first year, and so that just meant that a lot of the things that I packed had to be in a lot of like storage compartments, and I found that to be especially helpful during move out as well. Like Joy said, a throw blanket is something that I used every day. I typically made my bed every morning, and so coming after class, if I just wanted to lay down on my bed and not fully have to unravel the whole thing, this throw blanket definitely saved my life. I also really enjoyed having a body mirror just because the mirrors that they provide in the RLCs aren't full body. I enjoyed having that and it was just a helpful thing, but it will depend on which RLC you live in. And something that I will say that I did not need was an extra trash can. So SCU does provide one trash bin and one recycling for each individual. And I never ended up using the extra trash can that I brought to campus. So you can definitely leave that at home.
All right, so next, this was my room that I had my first year. You can see I am using my throw blanket, excuse me, on my bed. So like they mentioned before, that's definitely very helpful. My roommate and I decided to purchase some LED lights and a sunset lamp. We wanted to do this just because we had completely different schedules, and sometimes I would have to go to bed a lot earlier than she did. So that way she could still have some type of dim lighting on while she did work, and I could still sleep. So that's why we had so many cool lights in our room. The next thing I had is an LED clock, which I thought was super helpful for waking up for class on time. I actually got it for decoration, but since it was right across from my bed, I could wake up in the morning and check what time it is and see if I'm late or not. The next, moving on to my desk, I had a whiteboard on the wall right next to my desk where I could just write super quick to-dos and things like that. And then on my desk, I had a fan and a vanity mirror where I could do my makeup or just things like that. And then I had a bunch of storage drawers under my bed. I actually had 9 drawers total. 3 of them were provided by SCU, and then 6 of them I purchased from Target. And in those drawers, I would just keep clothes, socks, underwear, towels, extra sheets. I had a snack drawer, just a bunch of things like that. And then I purchased a little sheet just to cover them because they were see-through drawers. So that way not everyone could see into my stuff. And then next, I had a cart that I also got from Target that I used as storage and kind of like a bedside table. It's where I put all my chargers and things like that. And then just some fun posters on the walls and things like that, just to decorate it a little bit more.
Moving on to my 2 rooms. So the image on the left was my first year room, and then on the right was my second year room. Some of the staple things in my first room was definitely the fan, like we talked about before. And I have my throw blanket there. And again, I had this storage that doubled as a nightstand, the little wheeling cart that you can get at Target. And then all on the wall, this is specific for San Filippo. We have this little like cork board type of thing in every single room. So this is something to consider when thinking about decorations. So what I did is I had fairy lights strung there, and then I put clothespins and pinned up some pictures just to make the room feel more like home. And then moving into my second year, an addition that I added was this rug. This was really nice, and something that I wish I had my first year. But this also is really nice when you have other people in the room, because there's not a lot of seating areas in these rooms. But when you have a lot of people, it's nicer for them to like sit or lay on the carpet rather than the tile. And then also for my second year, I made this collage on the right hand side, and these are all pictures from my first year. So that was some fun decor that I put up. And then also, it's not really in this picture because this is from the first day, so I didn't have all the decorations done. But on the board, I kept a bunch of different like knickknacks and souvenirs throughout the year, and pinned them on that board. So whether it was wristbands, Polaroids, notes from my friends or family, cards, I put that all up there. So that was really fun to look at throughout the year. And also, that was really nice when I was cleaning up and taking stuff down. I feel like I have a little keepsake box of that year. But yeah, so this was just a little rough rundown of what we had in our rooms, what we enjoyed, what we think are necessities, and maybe some things that you can pass on. If anyone has any further questions, especially specific questions based on your RLC, you can reach out to any of the OLs and we can get you connected to somebody who also had lived in that RLC in the past if you want further details. But we wish you guys luck in the process of getting everything ready for move-in, and we're super excited to see you guys on campus.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.